Hey Tony, alright, so here is your latest past life reading, your spread. Again, we're going to go to where you are, what you did the majority of your time, an important day with the relationship and feelings, another important day, the death and lesson learned with hints of time throughout. Okay, so what I was getting as I was shuffling, putting this down, first of all, is something having to do with moving forward, progress. This has to do, I feel like it's gonna be about something about career and then balancing it with something else. There's a feeling of balancing coming through. I'm just getting a lot of stuff coming through beforehand, so I just like to say that now, like whatever I'm getting. What else? Okay, so I can say right away what came through more than anything was a couple of things. One, we're looking at the life of a male, and two, we're looking at how they're showing me him dressed, and the era feels a lot like we're looking at the what it feels like is like the cusp of the 1900s, like 1910, turn of the century kind of thing, the beginning of the 20th century. And they're showing me this guy in a white suit, but it's like a white linen suit. So it's almost like, it's like, I can't explain, almost like a white summer suit of some kind. And I don't know why they're showing me him like this. It could be that's how he preferred the dress. It could be that that's what he always wore and was known as. Or it could also be something where you can connect with that in some way. Like, the aesthetic of that early 20th century white suit aesthetic. If you go and look it up, there's something like, it's almost like a feeling of a traveler. Like he'd be out like traveling with this like white linen suit. But so it's interesting, because what's interesting about this is that what he's wearing feels like like he would wear it on a trip to the Middle East, or on a trip to where there is a desert, or somewhere where it's dry. So let's just start. So here is where we are, and this is the Americas card. And the thing about this card is I'm laying it down and it's not placing me like specifically in one of these places, but what it's doing is it is bringing forward the idea of somewhere where it is like dry and there is desert. And the thing is though, is it feels like this guy travels, so that's why it's not totally like placing me down somewhere permanently, but where it is kind of directing me is West Coast. It's almost like, it feels like the gold rush-ish era, and I don't really know the years that was, so if you can go and Google that, it'd probably be really helpful. But it feels gold rushy, but not that he's part of like going and digging for gold, but he's part of, it's almost like he's in the area or near it, or that's what's kind of happening at the time. That's all a buzz kind of thing. So maybe that's why they're putting me there. So it's West Coast. And also what they're bringing through for me is the movie. If you've ever seen The Mask of Zorro, the one with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Antonio Banderas, that one. That's what they're kind of showing me, is that it's almost like that period of time, or that aesthetic. It's that aesthetic where it's like they're digging into like a canyon mountain thingy, and again it feels very gold rushy. And I feel like they're also bringing that up, not just, oh, this is the era you were in, but it's also, I feel like they're bringing up the gold rushy thing because I feel like it pertains to what could be coming your way as far as striking gold. Like it's the feeling of striking it, like I guess striking it rich, but I don't want to say, like, I don't want to be like, oh, you're gonna strike it rich, like a fortune teller or something like that. But that's what it kind of feels like, is like, if anything, it's like you are definitely on the right path. Or if you're unsure of your footing, all you got to do is take one step at a time and listen to your gut as far as what is pulling at you, what excites you, because you're heading in a direction that I feel is going to be really, you're going to hit something where it's going to be like it's going to take off, or there's fire behind it, like in a good way. There's something like, it feels like there's something really good coming. All right. I'll just leave it at that. And I feel like that's where a connection would be with this. But how you can be making connections too, of course, could be other things like, were you ever interested in learning about the gold rush or that era? Or do you have a yen for treasure hunting? Or, you know, that kind of thing, like finding something rare. Or it could also be, do you like the idea of not following the crowd, but going with like the idea of finding a group of people who are on a similar mission as you, or they're on a mission that you can jump on board with your heart and soul, and go along with this group of people, kind of thing. Almost like finding your tribe, but it's more than how I usually tell people, like, oh, find your tribe so you can be happy and have friends. It's more like, in this sense, it's like, find your tribe so that you all can go together to move up, like move forward in your progress in a way that's, it could be spiritual, but it's also more about like your work, you know, like you're building your reputation, or seeking out something to create something or find something that's going to become known, and you know, that kind of thing. Are you okay, do you like the idea of discovering something? Has that ever been part of your makeup, where you're like, oh, it'd be so cool if I like invented this, or if I found this and brought it to light, or if I found this, you know, like, or I can't explain it more than that really, but it's like that feeling of discovery, of being a discoverer, even being known for discovering the blank. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. If that's ever been part of like, if that's ever been like a daydream of yours kind of thing throughout your life, that would be a connection. Also, the West Coast could be a connection for you. If you ever like the idea, this is California, but it feels like it's south, almost to the tip of, you know, like the border of the Southern California border, basically. So I feel like that's where we're getting that dry aridness. Also, please go ahead and Google and see where that gold rush over there was. I don't know if it was in one place or a few places, but if it was in Southern California, that would be more validating for me to know. So go ahead and Google that and see about that connection. But it does feel like Southern California. If you've ever been pulled towards California, Southern California, Southern California, even like if you were to look it up on a map to see what, I should know my geography, and I'm sorry I don't, but I don't know if it's Texas or New Mexico. I don't know. I know the states over there. I just don't know exactly what this border is, but it does border another state, and that's where also I feel like this is coming through, where I'm like, oh, there's not a home base, there's moving around, because I feel like there's something about you going back and forth between over these states for a reason, back and forth, but I feel like Southern California is kind of like the hot spot, but you do travel nearby. Also, if you have any connection to dry heat, if you like dry heat, if you've ever visited like Vegas and you felt that dry heat, that could be another connection, something simple like that. This can also be indicative of if you're for some reason looking for something, whether it's like to move or maybe find a second home or a second home base, or if you're looking to connect with a job or something that's going to become part of your life, it could be that you'll be connecting with something out west, okay? So if there is something that you're stewing or brewing on lately where it might be out west, I feel like that would actually be a very good potential thing to continue on with. If not, that's fine. Just keep your eyes open as far as what comes into your radar for opportunities. And if something is out west, just look into it maybe a little more. I'm not saying gung-ho, go for it, you know, because I don't want to, you know, say that and who knows what happens. But if something does come across your radar, now you know there's a connection there, and it's something to look into to feel out for yourself, because I always want you to feel it out for yourself rather than just simply relying on this. This is just like a nice little foundation, or, you know, little pointers or something to keep in mind. Let's go forward to what you do with the majority of your time, and keep making connections, of course, where you can here. Also, the idea of traveling for work, the idea of commuting for work, those are just other connections that you could be playing with. Hold on, let's see if there's anything else. Nope. Okay, so keep making connections where you can. This card here is the teacher card, and you know, when I do readings, I don't really remember a whole lot of what comes through because there's so much, and I'm just like, blah, you know, just kind of trying to get it all out. But I can remember, because I have done so many readings for you, that there has been before a teaching theme, right? Hasn't there been a theme where you're a teacher? I feel like that's you. So it's really interesting. This comes up again, the teacher card. So what I feel like we're playing into here is there's something about you're traveling from that state across the border, whatever it is. There's a teaching aspect to it. I'm trying to see what it is. When they're showing me you in that suit, they're showing me you in the suit teaching in front of people. So it's also, it's indoors. It feels like it's almost like a one of those lecture halls. It's almost like professor, but I feel like the professor part or the teacher part isn't, you're only there teaching because of the things that you've done that allows you to teach. So it feels like it's not like you're the kind of teacher where, oh, you went to school for it and you got your degree and now here I am in a classroom. It feels more like you learned something through your experience, years of experience, and now you're bringing your experience to the table to teach. And I feel like your experience had to do with being out in the field, almost like archaeology, almost like anthropology. Again, that gold rush thing, it's almost, or geology. So it feels like there's an aspect of you that is outside, under the sun, doing hard work for many years. Or it's almost like you're not like the person like doing the digging if there's digging, but you're the person that's directing them, because you're using your knowledge of like the geography or the geology of the land, or there's something, again, like it feels treasure hunty, but it's not well, it could be treasure, but it feels treasure hunting in the way where you know where something is located and you're able to direct people to go there to find the minerals, resources, gold, whatever it is that they need. So you're bringing your expertise to this group, and it has the feeling of archaeology, but that's only it could be because they're using my filter, and I used to, like I wanted to be an archaeologist at one time, so that's the feeling they're bringing through for me, for you. So connect with that how you can. It could be archaeology, an interest in that kind of thing, or something right near it, having to do with it, whether it's working with the land or land. It can even be landscaping, quite frankly. So if you're connecting with anything there where it comes an interest in digging for gold, an interest for finding resources, an interest for landscaping, but not just like putting a pretty lawn down, but more like landscaping, like building into the land, recreating the land, reshifting the land to create things that weren't there before that are now aesthetic, if that makes sense. So that's what I feel like is coming through, but in this case, they're bringing me to you at the time when you have begun teaching it rather than doing it more so. And it feels like they're placing, you're not like old or anything, like this guy, I feel like he's like hitting 40 or like 45, like young still, like, but now already having come to the position where he's teaching rather than being out in the field. This is so it feels also like there could be a connection as far as you learning a skill or trade that is valuable to the point where it feels natural enough where you're like, I can teach this now, where people might be coming to you for advice. So if you find that people start coming to you in your field for advice on how to become better in that field, basically, you might be seeing that happen. It might not be right now, maybe it is, but I feel like in time to come. Again, we're getting a lot of stuff that's like in time to come. I don't get that a lot. I don't get a lot of like future stuff coming up, but I feel like in time to come, just a few years, I feel like you're going to have such a grasp on whatever it is that you are doing or find yourself getting into, that people will come to you for advice on how to get into it or how to get better at it, if that makes sense. So again, it feels very much like you are exactly where you need to be and to keep on walking down that path. And again, follow what feels right. It feels like you know already how to follow your intuition, but you might second guess yourself a lot. And I feel like there's something about like a message coming through of like, dude, you need to stop second guessing yourself. So if you're second guessing yourself, when it comes to certain things about it, it's so easy to like doubt yourself because you start comparing or you start like bringing in teachings you've learned throughout your life that you're brainwashed with from society, and you're like, oh no, this isn't right, or whatever. You got to put that aside and really start to, it's like right now you're at a great time where you're being presented with opportunities to tap into your intuition and to follow your inner guidance, and their opportunities are being presented to you also, not just for the opportunity itself, but also to help teach you to stop second guessing yourself and to go along with your intuition. That's what I feel like this is. So you're on the right path. If you're having any doubt, you gotta learn to drop it. And I know it's easier said than done, but you really can do it. It can be easier if you allow it to be easier. It's just about shifting that belief system and letting go of some shit that you don't need to hold on to, okay? So let go of that doubt, the second guessing thing. It's not gonna work for you if you keep second guessing. Or I guess I should say, if you keep second guessing yourself, you're gonna be stalling. Like, you're going to be putting something off that doesn't need to be put off that long. Like, you just need to, like, you're jumping hurdles, but you're putting the hurdles in the way. So you can clear the hurdles if you want to. And a lot of times what this feels like, because I grew up in like a Jewish household, okay? So there's a lot of guilt associated with that. So it's almost like we punish ourselves in order to feel like we've earned what we earn. Make sure you're not doing that. Make sure you're not allowing guilt to stall something or guilt to perpetuate something when you know you're putting the hurdles there with your own mind. Get rid of the hurdles, move forward. The quicker you can do that, the quicker you're going to get to where you need to get to. It's almost like the quicker you're going to get to that place of self-realization, which comes with a buttload of wonderful feelings, let me tell you. Like, there's these I don't know, I'm not used to talking about future stuff, so this is kind of new to me, so bear with me. But again, just get rid of the hurdles, get there quicker, you can do it. If you don't get rid of the hurdles and you don't get there as quickly, you'll still get there, but save yourself the hassle, save yourself the stress, save yourself, you know what I mean? Like, save yourself the prolonged angst of getting there when you yourself could be you are the catalyst of making it as quick or as slow as you want to get there. When I say there, I mean self-realization. I mean a place where you feel more connected to yourself because what you're doing with your life feels so right and good that you know that that's where you need to be. The place where you don't even have to doubt anymore. But in order to get to the place where you don't have to doubt anymore and you feel so good and self-assured, again, you got to get rid of the little doubty hurdles along the way. So anyway, take that however you want to take that. Keep making connections with this however you can. We're going to go to the first important day. So here's the Wowzer card. Something big is happening on this day. The feeling is, or the relationship is the spouse card. And this is gratitude right there. So what's happening here is it feels very much like this aspect of you, this man, has found a partner and a very unique partner. This partner is almost like a mirror of this aspect, almost like they're okay, there we go. Have you ever heard the term called twin flames? When I first heard the term twin flames, I was like, whatever, I'm not into that. Like, I don't care. Like, it's just, sometimes we come across things and we're like, okay, maybe it's there, maybe it's real, maybe it's not, whatever, but it's not like speaking to me right now, so I'm not going to go into it. But since then, over time, I've come across a lot of people and a lot of instances where it's more and more realized that, yeah, there are twin flames. So go ahead and Google the term twin flames. Also there's a soulmate aspect to this. There's a partner you find who is, there's a tomboy aspect to her that is so lovely and matching your energy here, because it's almost like she's still feminine, and there's something very like feminine and charismatic about her, but also a little bit tomboyish too, because I feel like she's also in your field here at a time when women should not be doing this or are not doing it. So there's someone here who's very progressive that you become I feel like you get married, it's almost like a knowing, like you meet this person, oh, okay, yeah, no, we're a match. This is supposed to happen here. So again, it's almost like you see yourself in her. She sees herself in you. A lovely pairing, a lovely meeting of minds, for which the gratitude card comes in, because this is a day when you actually, I'm not going to say day, it's a period of time meeting this person, falling in love, where you for the first time fully understand what it's like to be so grateful for having a connection, grateful to whatever power may be, because of this amazing connection that you thought you would never find, or you never felt this before. It's such a lovely feeling. But this is someone who works by your side, your pals. This is a pal. This is a lover and a friend and a pal and it's like best friends. Such a great feeling. And it feels like this feeling of like you, it's again, this self-realization, this feeling of like, oh my God, like it took this long to find this person because I had to become who I am before I met her, because if I didn't go through what I went through and become who I am now, we wouldn't have been a right match for each other at this time. Like, so you both, again, it's like this weird, like you both went on went through your lives until you finally meet at this place where you both love to do what you're doing at this place you're doing it at. It's very interesting. So why this day is so important is because you level up in your soul level, where you realize how, again, the feeling of gratitude, it was like you've never felt that level of gratitude, so it boosted you up. So this partner, meeting this partner boosted you up. So it's a very interesting thing. I don't know really. So connections you could be making about, also it is about like finding that gratitude has a very real place in your life as far as developing yourself. The more you focus on the gratitude aspect of what you do have, you'll find that the more you're grateful for what you do have, the more that will come into your life that will be even more of a feeling of gratitude. It's going to be expansive is what it feels like, if it's not already. If you don't feel yourself going through something where you feel like you're expanding your awareness, expanding your presence, expanding who you are, expanding yourself, almost like you're creating space to feel more than you've ever felt before. I feel like you're at a really cool time in your life right now where you're experiencing a whole lot, and I feel like there's a whole lot more to experience, and I feel like it has to do with partnership, and it has to do with you, with meeting people that you feel there's a union with, where it opens you up to expansion, self-exploration. That's what this person does for this person. So connect however you can. It could be that you're meeting people or are going to meet people or have met people recently where all this, it's like ding, 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 and something is feeling like you're expanding or you're growing, developing in certain ways, that kind of thing. But it's a feeling of just remember to always be grateful for the moments that you have, for those moments that come through, moments of clarity, moments where you are in self-realization of understanding, wow, I'm growing right now. Or, oh my God, this is what people are talking about. This is that feeling. This is, that kind of thing. And it's a wonderful feeling, also a feeling coming through like a message of keep going, keep exploring. Keep moving forward in this way. Keep expanding your awareness, who you are, what you're capable of, that kind of thing. Explore yourself. And I feel like a lot of exploring yourself comes, you almost like this person here almost feeds off the energy of other people, not in a bad way. You've heard of energy vampires maybe. This is not what I'm talking about, but almost like allowing others' energy to feed their soul in a good way, if that makes sense. So keep that in mind. Again, it feels like there are other people involved that are helping you along your path spiritually to expand and be aware of yourself even more. So don't close yourself off from other people coming into your life, okay? That's what it feels like. Keep making connections where you can, though. But it's a very expansive feeling on this day. So the next important day here is the so long farewell until we meet again card. Right there, okay. And the feeling here is family. I mean, the relationship is family. I keep saying feeling. And the feeling, excuse me, is joy. Ooh, burp, sorry. Okay, so the feeling is joy. And it feels like what we're looking at here is a departure. So what are we departing from? It feels like there's a departure. What's going on here? Okay, so what it feels like is the family he's departing from, so to speak, if that makes sense. It's not his family, like mom, dad, partner. It's not like that kind of thing. It's more like, it feels like it's a departure from the tradition. There's a departure from tradition. Family here is not people. Family in this card feels like we're looking at what family represents to you in your mind. If it feels like, because it feels like now we're talking about like you currently, but also this aspect too is a break away from a traditional mindset, a break away from traditional family values, a break away from traditional family expectation. That is what's coming through purely. Feels like there is a breakaway, so it doesn't really feel like a geographical so long farewell. Even though this guy is traveling, it feels like there's a breakaway, so long farewell to the previous mindset and previous values and ideals that I held, and hello to a newer concept, a newer mind concept, a newer concept of ideals, a new concept of what values are, what is valuable to you, a figuring out that it's like what is important to you may not coincide or align with what was once important to you, or what you want to make traditional in your life. There we go. It's coming through as a message of creating or making your own traditions. What is considered traditional to you is what you define as traditional now, not what society defines as traditional now. Do you see what I'm saying? So we're looking at these 2 days now where there is a breakaway of something that is considered normal or considered right or considered traditional or considered of the times, like that kind of thing. So this feels like it's a breakaway from what we collectively as a society and, consider what is good and right and proper traditionally. And the feeling is joy because it's, again, this feeling of self-realization of, hey, life is what I make it out to be. I'm here for a purpose individually. I'm not here to live for other people. I'm here to explore and discover and be true to myself. And in that is incredible joy because there's incredible feeling and like freedom. I'm so sorry, not feeling. Of course, there is incredible feeling, but incredible freedom. I feel like there's a sense of freedom unlike ever he has known or expected, because again, I feel like this time period we're looking at is when there is a lot of traditions still in play, expectations from society is what it feels like is coming through, and it feels like the breakaway from the expectations, the breakaway from normal society expectation, tradition, value, all the stuff we're talking about, comes incredible joy. Again, it is so joyful when you are living a life where you are living in your truth, in what is true to you, what feels right to you, what feels good, despite what society might feel or think. So it could be, again, if it like what's coming to my mind is what they're using, what I do. Like I broke away from tradition to do this kind of work. And it feels incredible to be able to do this kind of work because there is a lot of, like, I can speak from my own experience. Basically is what they're saying through me is like, your experience. That's what we're talking about here, is you creating the life that you feel is right for you, creating the experience that you feel is right to experience for you in this life, and to pursue that because that is where the joy is at, and that is where the truth is at. So keep that in mind. Keep making connections where you can. It could be coming up for you, could be what you're going through now, but I feel like this is a very, the word is tumultuous, but not in a negative way, because when it's tumultuous, there's just so much happening and it might feel overwhelming, but it's actually very positive. It feels very positive. And again, I feel like we're looking at this huge thing about self-expansion, self-realization, self-awareness. It's very lovely. So keep making connections where you can here. And we're going to go to the death card. So this is the burn, baby, burn card. It's death by fire. And what I'm going to say about this card is here, what it means is that it's just that it feels like a natural death, more or less, but it's out in the sun. It feels like almost like it's like you're older, so it's normal that it could be that, oh yeah, okay, he passes at this age, almost like 70, which today is young. It's 70, 70-year-olds are running around, it's like, but here it's like you're 70, so it could, people die at 50, people die at 60, so it feels like you're like inching towards 70 or you're hitting 70 or whatever it is, so it'd be normal for you to pass, but I feel like there's a contributing factor from the heat. So it's almost like you spent your life working outside, you know, directing, like whatever it is, except when you're teaching indoors, but it feels like you never leave what you love behind. You still do go to the so the locations, yeah, that's what it's called. So it's like you work sites, like locations, like dig sites. That's what it feels like. More and more, it feels like dig sites. So it feels like you're at a dig site and the heat is a contributing factor, plus your age, because in your mind you feel young. You feel like, I've been doing this my whole life. I know how to handle this. Like, you know, like you're not expecting heat stroke or anything like that, but that's what it feels like. Eventually it's like heat stroke plus your age kind of is what is the killer here. So in your current life though, this is a man who enjoyed the heat, enjoyed that being out in the dry sun. If you're someone that likes to be out in the sun and that in the heat and you feel that on your skin and you feel like you're soaking it in, absorbing it, that would definitely be a connection. Because, you know, usually I would say, oh, well, maybe you connect in a way here where you don't like the heat, you want to stay in cold weather, and you want to stay indoors all the time because you died from the heat. But this man died appreciating it. He died appreciating that he was dying or that he passed in a way doing what he loved, in a place where he loved, in an environment he loved his whole life. So it would be normal that loving feeling would actually continue into your current life. So if you connect with that, that would be why. Otherwise, I don't feel like there's any other connection like, watch out for that heat stroke. Like, no, you don't have to worry about that. It's more about just the heat itself. So let's go to the lesson here. The lesson here is dream big. I feel like this is just like encapsulating everything that I was feeling more so up here, but it's everything. Dreaming big in the way of self-realization, making sure you are pursuing your dreams and following the feelings that are trying to guide you from within. Follow those. Those are going to allow you to live the biggest life you can live, the best life you can live. And I feel like you're actually here to experience the most you can out of this life. Like, take it all in, man. Like, that's what I feel like is coming through. And it's funny because the messages coming through are coming through in kind of like that voice of like, dude, like they're coming through like, take it all in, man. Take it all in, man. Like, that's what it feels like. It's also like this message of like, again, you're exactly where you need to be. You're doing the right thing. Keep moving forward with the self-exploration, the self-realization, the progress you're making, the steps you're taking. It just feels like the dream big card is because you are supposed to be dreaming big. You're supposed to be allowing yourself to dream big and to pursue all the dreams that you have, to move forward with the things that you want to do. And also this lovely feeling of what you set your mind to and what you pursue will happen. You'll be able to do it. Like, again, these little things of like little self-doubt coming through or second guessing, those are the only things in your way. And that's put in you by being trained, by growing up and, you know, brainwashed by society or whatever it is, religion, that kind of thing. So you just have to realize those little things in your way, those little obstacles, those are, you know, from growing up, and you can get rid of it. It's a belief system, these little belief systems that were placed in you. And it's just also a message of you are so capable of being able to shift those belief systems, like so capable if you just take the time and do it. So keep making connections where you can, but that's a beautiful message coming through, a beautiful card. I love this card. It doesn't come through often. But keep making connections where you can. There's your past life there. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're able to actually make some of those connections because it feels so good. And you know how to reach me with any questions or anything like that, okay? So have a great day, and thanks for letting me read you.